We also got a good game one on the ice, and if it was any indication, we've got a good Stanley Cup final on our hands. After Edmonton took a 1-0 series lead on Wednesday, both the Panthers and the Oilers hit the ice this morning as they get ready for round two. Tonight, our NHL reporter Emily Kaplan joins us from Edmonton. So game one of this Cup final rematch already feels a little bit different than last season's for the Oilers. What stands out most about them getting the momentum in this one?
Well, Christine, what stands out most to me is health. Last year, we know that Leon Draisaitl did not score a single goal in the Stanley Cup final. And I can tell you, he was managing several different injuries that he was playing through. He wasn't 100%. And, of course, hockey players. This year, he's much healthier. And that's important because when the Oilers need offense, they can load him up with Connor McDavid like they did in the third period and overtime. And those two can make magic together. Now, usually the Stanley Cup playoffs is a war of attrition. The Oilers feel like they're adding players at this time of year. Yes, there is one big loss in Zach Hyman, and that's not insignificant, but their top defenseman, Matthias Ekholm, debuted last round. He looks great. Connor Brown, a very important energy forward that's on the penalty kill. He returned in this series. So it just feels like right now, when the Oilers need to be at their best, they're finding their health and they're finding their stride at exactly the right time.
Okay, so on the other side of this series, the Panthers, they've had a day to kind of process squandering a two-goal lead in game one. What has been the Panthers' response to facing a potential 2-0 hole?
So Matthew Tkachuk, he's a master motivator, and despite being the defending Stanley Cup champions, he's saying we're the underdogs in this series. And yesterday he said it's an us against the world mentality. Now the biggest issue in game one, according to Sam Bennett, who's been their leading playoff scorer, is that when they built the lead, they sat back. And that's uncharacteristic of this team. They're typically very aggressive, so I would expect them to change that heading into game two. And game one was atypical for another reason. Under Paul Maurice, they had been 32-0 in the playoffs when they led after any period. This was the first such loss. So Matthew Tkachuk says, this is a better Oilers team than we faced last year. It's hard to imagine them squandering a lead yet again, but this Oilers team is one of the best, if not the best team that they had faced in this three-year run.
So a little uncomfy for the Panthers, but we'll see if they're able to get it together in game two. Emily Kaplan, thank you.
To Edmonton, when we find our NHL analysts, Kevin Weeks, to help us preview game two. And if Wednesday was any indication of what to expect for the rest of this series, then we're in for an incredible Cup final. How can the Oilers continue to capitalize on their momentum tonight?
Exactly what they did in game one. Come out, dominate the shot clock the way they did. They outshot Florida 14-7 in the first period, assert themselves, and quite frankly, score that first goal. The Oilers scored early, and by getting that early goal, that got their fans into it. There was a lot of kind of anticipation coming into this game, maybe a little bit of nervousness, and Leon Draisaitl got that first goal to get this party started here in Edmonton, get the fans in behind them, leverage the energy, leverage the passion. So for the Edmonton Oilers, to me, that was the exact way you want a starter game, and they have to continue to keep their foot on the gas and have their imprint on this game right from opening puck drop here in game two.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a party for a while, considering the Oilers are 13-2 since opening the playoffs with consecutive losses against the Kings. By my math, that's a good turnaround. The other side, Matthew Tkachuk says the Panthers are adopting an us against the world mentality facing the Oilers. So what adjustments do you expect from Florida tonight?
Florida's going to be ready to play right off the bat. I played for the head coach, Paul Maurice, went to a Stanley Cup final with him in Carolina in 2002. His teams are always well prepared. They're always well structured. And quite frankly, this is the standard. The Florida Panthers are the standard of excellence. They didn't play their A game in game one, and every person within that group will say that. Sergei Bobrovsky was brilliant. He gave them a chance. And speaking of chances, look at these offensive opportunities that Edmonton generated. Had not for Bobrovsky, it would have been a runaway game. Florida Panthers can also stay out of the box and get back to defending. Look at some of these opportunities. Kaplan slicing through. Here's Bouchard as the defenseman on Forsling, one of the best defensemen in the league. He waltzes through him to get a breakaway opportunity. So I look for the Florida Panthers to be more of their tighter self, and this was the penalty that kind of sealed it. An ill-advised play there by Noshik, which was the penalty in overtime, and that sets up this power play. Good night from Edmonton. Leon Draisaitl from Connor McDavid. for the game-winning goal, the fans went nuts. So I look for the Florida Panthers to be back on their A game here in Game 2.
Look, they were up multi-goals, similar to the NBA Finals. It's like, what adjustments do you make when you were leading for most of the game and then watch the team crawl back in? And we'll find out tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Kevin Weeks, great stuff. Thank you.